I want to talk to the agent who feels like they're winning on paper, but unfortunately losing everywhere else. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're crushing it in real estate. You've reached $200, $300, $400, $500,000 a year in GCI. Your phone is buzzing, your family's proud of you, you're constantly busy. But here's the reality that only you know, and maybe your family feels it, but they're not telling you. Success without a system is just a high-paying prison. I know your life right now because I've lived it firsthand. I've coached literally hundreds of agents out of this exact hamster wheel and into a life of abundance and balance. See, let's see if I'm correct with this. Your phone starts going off at about 4:30 in the morning. You can't sleep in because you're too worried about what you will ultimately miss if you don't respond to that text or that email. You can't live a balanced, productive morning because you're too busy rushing out the door or looking and responding to emails and text and everything else that has already started pawing at you early in the day. And goodness, forget about having breakfast with your family because it's all you can do is just grab your stuff, get out, and you got to get to the office, right? You got stuff to do. And at the end of the day, when the day's over, it's not really over. You may be sitting at the dinner table with your family, physically present, but your mind, it's miles away. It's on fires, it's on problems, it's on escrows, it's on challenges. It's on the wants, the needs, and the whims of your business, a business built as a high-paying prison. Before we go any further, I want you to know who's talking to you and how I know this exact moment that you're in. I'm the designated managing broker of one of the nation's largest real estate brokerages. In addition to that, I'm a 3-time Inc. 5000 private fastest growing company's chief operating officer in the real estate space. I have spent my entire real estate career in the trenches. I've seen exactly what happens to business leaders, top producing agents, when they become the bottleneck, when they overreach their systems, when their income is through the roof, but they're out of balance. And subsequently, most amazing is I have seen what happens when top producer team leaders get out of their own way and they shift their mindset from an agent to a CEO. I've personally lived the weight of the golden handcuffs, but today, I'm offering you a way out. And no, I'm not talking about just hiring an assistant. We're talking about the actual moment when you stop being the structural part of your business and you start becoming the architect. If you're ready to buy back your life, if you're ready to invest in your future, if you're ready to create a business that operates with or without you, that's duplicatable and repeatable, strap in because we're about to get into the blueprint. Lesson number 1. Stop being the assistant. There's a saying that says, if you don't have an assistant, you are an assistant. Keep in mind, team, assistants they're not all made alike. They all come in different sizes and shapes, different qualifications, different ability, and different heart. This just so happens to be an industry, the real estate industry, where we worship the solo rock star. We look at that agent that's constantly producing. They have 20, 30, 40 listings and think, man, how do they manage all of this all by themselves? But in reality, team, that agent is not a business owner. They're a highly compensated clerk. Let's take our agent hat off for a moment. Let's look at it through the lens of a chief operating officer. Let's put on our COO hat and look at it from the head of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. The CEO of the business doesn't spend their time formatting the company newsletter. They're not busy chasing down a single signature on a piece of escrow paperwork. And why is that? Well, it's obvious. It's a negative ROI on their time. So here's the trap. Here's the math trap. If you're making $500,000 a year, that means your time is worth roughly $250 an hour. Every time you spend 60 minutes on an administrative task, you just spent $250 on a task that should cost you $20. The reality is, and trust me, I've been there, I've lived it. We tell ourselves, I'll just do it. It'll only take me 5 minutes. But those 5 minutes, those are another 5 minutes of the bricks that are building your prison wall. In the corporate world, we call this managerial drift. This occurs when the leader loses sight of their vision. They stop charting the course because they're too busy looking at KPIs. They're too busy looking at spreadsheets. They're too busy looking at data. They no longer drive the company forward towards the company vision. The CEO mind shift, this actually occurs when you realize that you doing managerial clerk-like tasks is actually robbing money from your corporation. You are robbing from your company's future growth just to save a few bucks up front. The reality is you need to fire yourself from that noise and move yourself back into a role of leadership, into entrepreneur, into CEO. Lesson number 2, when it comes to hiring folks to surround us, hire the brain and hire the heart, not just the hands. The old school advice used to be just get an administrative assistant, just get an admin, get a VA, plug somebody in who can actually do the task for you. On the surface, that's decent advice, but your first hire shouldn't be a helper. It shouldn't be an assistant. It should be an OL, an operations lead. In my time as a chief operating officer and later as a chief innovation officer, I learned that great team members don't just do the work. They drive the initiative forward. They think outside the box. They find alternative solutions. They don't just identify problems. They identify the problems and they bring 1, 2, 3 solutions. They think on their feet. They think outside the box and they're constantly moving your vision forward. See the difference between a hired hand and then a hired heart and a hired brain? Let me paint the reality for you. Imagine that you're at a high stakes listing appointment. Boom, you have a snafu. You need something and you need it fast. Are you going to feel comfortable reaching out to an assistant who's going to fumble and bumble about? Or are you going to reach out to an operations lead that's going to be on the spot and provide you solutions that exceed your expectations? So what I mean by this is they have to have the heart to lead and to think outside the box and to exceed all expectations, but they also need to have the foresight of problem solving. Let's say, for example, that you are in a listing presentation, you all of a sudden need some updated market stats. Well, do you want somebody that's just going to pull the market stats from the MLS? Or do you want somebody that's going to pull some market stats, run them through Gamma, and then ultimately make some great infographics, all in the same amount of time it would have taken to get them from the MLS, and send you over an amazing PDF with infographics that meet the needs of that appointment? See, team, 2 different people doing the same job, but doing the job completely differently. One smart person leveraging AI and built by the appropriate tools will far outwork 3 average assistants. Is it going to cost you a little more? Maybe for that one person, but then again, you don't have to hire 2 or 3 people, and ultimately that's going to save you about 70% on your margins in the long run. Additionally, that OL, they will be able to be your team leader, your ops leader, and manage additional team members as your team scales. So while your competitors are drowning in traditional payroll avoidance and office drama, you're busy scaling your business because you didn't hire an assistant, you hired a co-pilot. Lesson number 3, this is a continuation. If you can't tell, it's kind of important. Hire the heart. Now let's talk about who most agents hire out of desperation. They're drowning in paperwork. They usually wait until it's well too late. They're past the point of no return before they start interviewing people. And what do? They grab the first shiny PDF that looks like, well, they'll fit the need, and then they just throw them into the fire and hope that things work. As a former COO, I've hired literally hundreds of people, and I can tell you this straight up. You cannot teach heart. You can't teach somebody to actually care about your business. You can't teach somebody to actually care about your reputation. You can't hire somebody and teach them to care for your business as much as you do. When I look for a team member, I'm not looking for some admin ninja or some sales ninja or somebody that has a solid resume. I'm looking for somebody who observes the details that I hate or where I'm weak, and they happily step up and fill that void. I found that most successful hiring in real estate comes from outside of the industry. I typically will look at higher end hospitality, hotel, food and beverage. If I can find an executive assistant or an operational lead that understands hospitality, boom, game over. I can teach them the nuances of real estate. And look, this is also a huge point when it comes to growing and scaling a team, is most top producers will think nobody can care for my agents as much as I do. And you know what, team? That's probably true. They're not going to care for them the way you do, but they can still care for them, and they might do it in a different way. They might not do it exactly how you do it, but if they have the heart, the compassion, the empathy, and they want to see you succeed, they'll find a way to care for your clients. Because remember, team, at the end of the day, your clients don't need you doing every piece of admin work. They need you doing the real estate licensed activities, the fiduciary responsibility, the negotiation, and leading them through the most difficult financial, emotional decision of their lives. Lesson number 4, trust the playbook not the person. This is the most important lesson of your shift from agent to CEO. If the entirety of your business relies on one superstar OL, you are one resignation away from a failed business. In lessons 2 and 3, I talked about having that rock star in that position, but we don't depend solely on that individual. We need to have a system that's duplicatable and repeatable that they follow. That way, if they choose to resign, our business doesn't suffer. Once again, leaning back on my chief operating officer background, every single organization that I ran, we had our SOPs, our standard operating procedures. These were the holy grail. These were our business Bible on how things ran. See, the CEO builds the playbook. The playbook gets refined, it gets taught, it gets cross-trained to other employees. That way you have a system that is not people dependent. You should be able to plug anyone with a strong heart and a sound mind into that system and not miss a beat. So every time a problem arises, an email's missed, a deadline is missed, or worse, there's some sort of scheduling conflict or a ball's been dropped somewhere, you don't just put out the fire. You don't just fix it. You build a system, put it into the SOP, cross-train everyone so it doesn't happen again. We learn and we build from our mistakes. You create an AI workflow, you document it. That way your systems live in your SOPs. They're written down, they can be read, they can be resourced. Last thing we want them to do is to live in someone else's head. And finally, lesson number 5, stop being the engine of your business. The CEO shift is going to be the hardest move that you're ever going to make. Why? Because it requires you to set aside your ego. It requires you to admit that your business can and should operate without you. It can operate without you being at the helm constantly, without you being the smartest person in the room, without you doing everything. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to imagine a Tuesday morning 3 months from now. You go to the gym, you come home, you have breakfast with your family. And the best part is you haven't even checked your email once. Why? Because the machine is running. The system is functioning. Your operations lead is handling your workflow. Your AI is nurturing your leads. And your legacy, your business legacy, is actually growing while you are here, present in the moment of your own life. That's not a pipe dream, team. That is a CEO hybrid living in the modern reality. All it takes is systems, strategies, solutions, and you putting aside your ego and allowing it to be implemented. If you're ready to start this system, I do offer one-on-one coaching. It's an opportunity for us to work one-on-one in a coaching relationship. I'll tell you straight up, it's not cheap. If you're looking at monthly costs and you're weighing it as far as the pros and cons, the program's probably not for you. Who is the program for? It's for the operator, the top producer, the individual who's making 2, 3, 4, 500,000 a year. Their life is out of balance. They want to reclaim their time. They want their balance, but they also want their business to scale. Go ahead and take a look at the link down below. It'll link you to the Real Estate Academy Hub. That is a lot of tools, resources, and opportunities that I have. There's basic free downloads in there, but there's also the ability for us to work one-on-one in a coaching relationship. Look, team, the challenge is it's your business. Only you can make this decision for yourself. If growth and balance is something you desire, we should probably talk. But just keep in mind, at the end of the day, it's your business. My hope, my role, my mission for you is that you get out there, you get after it, and you grow your business. We'll talk soon, everybody. Bye-bye.